Hello YouTube, welcome to this week's video. This week's video we're going to be making a vase. I've never made one of these before. Started out with this log. It's depending on where you measure it, 12-13 inches long, probably about 7-8 inches wide depending on where you measure it. Never made a vase before. It's going to be my first time. I did rough it out a little bit to get it to stabilize on the lathe, and as you can see there are a few cracks forming, which is kind of what I wanted. So it's going to be, they call it dry vase. It's not going to be for plants need water. It's going to be for like dry flowers and stuff like that. So it should have some really interesting character, especially since I let it sit for a couple of days and had these cracks forming. It's exactly what I was looking for. Not 100% sure what kind of shape we're going for yet. Like I said, it's my first one. So hopefully it doesn't explode on me. And if it does, hopefully I get it on camera. So just stick around, see what's going to happen, see if we can make a vase. Hey guys, welcome back to Crosscut Turnings. Just wanted to take a minute and say thank you to everyone that's watched the last two videos, all the comments, the likes, all the shares. Really appreciate it. I love the support. Thank you, thank you. On that note, go ahead, if you would, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, make sure that bell is rung so you can see when any new video goes live. And last but not least, leave a comment below. Let me know what you think. We're starting out with this vase. I'm trying to get the front end here trued up, get all the little bits off so it can run true. And then we're going to end up putting a tenon on this side so I can flip it around in the chuck. I wasn't really sure how I was going to do this. Like I said, this is my first vase that I've done. So I wanted to put a recess in, but with it is the way it is, I had to put a tenon on it first. Then we'll end up flipping it over and putting a recess in on that side. So now that I've got the tenon marked out with a pencil, I know where I'm going. I'm using the square carbide cutter to just trim this down. I'm going to trim it all the way down, and then we got to put a little bit of a angle on it so it'll fit the curve of the jaws. Right here I grabbed the 55-degree detailer tool. It's a little triangle carbide. This is what I'm using to put the angle on the tenon. And you want to undercut the end of it a little bit so the jaws sit flat. Here I am, and I'm test fitting the chuck onto the tenon, making sure it's not too big, not too small. Using the lights, just make sure it's not bottoming out. Sorry about the bad camera angle here. On that note though, I should have some products coming in to where I can give an over-the-top view. What you're not seeing is I used some CA glue to strengthen the tenon. I was a little worried about it. I don't do a whole lot of spindle work, and this is probably the biggest one I've done. So I wasn't 100% sure about the tenon. I don't use tenons a whole lot. I try to use a mortise or a recess when I can. Now we got it flipped around. What we're going to do is I'm going to even out this side. And then since I have a good hold on it with the chuck, I'm going to end up putting a recess in over here. And that will be the bottom of the vase. Y'all let me know down in the comments what kind of wood you think this might be. I am not 100% sure. I tried doing some research. You'll see toward the end of the video, the grain pattern in this is just phenomenal, and I've never seen grain like it in the short time that I've been doing this. So if you think you know what kind of wood it is, leave a comment, let me know. Here I was gonna remove the tailstock and try to get rid of that nub, but I wasn't sure about the safety with it, so I decided to go ahead and put the tailstock back up. Here in just a second I will switch out the live center to a smaller one. It'll give me more room for my tool. Here I've got a small parting tool. I'm just creating a little bit of a recess in there, and we'll come back and put the angle on it. Using the parting tool right here to get in there and get that angle on it, that dovetail for the chuck jaws to set in. And here I'm just curving out the inside just to make sure that it's going to be sitting on the rim versus where the recess is. Right here I'm using the 55-degree detailer to shave down the nub that the tailstock's holding on. What we're going to do is we're going to stop it here, and I'm going to slowly spin it. And I just slowly spun it by hand to finish cutting through that, so we had a good solid recess in there with nothing blocking it. Flip it over to where we can get the recess going, pull this tailstock back up for support, and then we are finally going to get to be able to shape the outside of this thing. This has got to be one of the funnest projects I've done. Like I said, I don't do a lot of spindle turning with the exception of like pins and stuff like that. This is definitely the biggest one I've done. Although there is some hollowing out on the inside and stuff, I don't really do a whole lot of pure spindle work like we're doing on the outside of this vase. And this is probably the most fun I've had on a project. It was just beautiful. The grain, everything worked out really well. As I'm shaping this, I'm realizing that I'm going to have to hollow this out, and I don't have the tools to quite hollow out as long as this thing is, so we're going to end up having to cut a chunk off of the end. And you'll see me do that here in just a minute. So right here I grab the parting tool again, and I'm just starting it. I'm going to get it as close as I can. I don't want to have to saw through this. This is probably about 8 inches wide at this point, and I don't want to have to saw through all that, so I'm using the parting tool to get it a lot closer, less to saw through. So we've got the excess cut off. What we're going to do here is we're just going to finish off the profile. I still bring the tailstock up for support. I can pretty much keep it there until it's time to drill out the inside. I was really excited that toward the lip of the vase, I was going to get to keep a little bit of that underbark. I didn't go too deep on it. I thought that added a really nice accent to the piece. It looked really well with the grain. So we got the outside done. We're just doing a little sanding. I started with 80. I went all the way through 400. Didn't record all of it. Showed you a little bit of the 80, and I'll show you the end of the 400. This was the final piece, the 400. I tried to show it, but since the video's sped up, you can't really read it. All right, so I used a 3/4 inch drill to drill out the very center. I've noticed if I start small and kind of work my way up, it's easier. I lost the footage on the Forstner bit, but I went all the way up to 1.5 inches on the Forstner bit before I started hollowing this out. I changed my mind a couple of times about how deep I wanted this piece to go. The wife changed my mind a couple of times about how deep we wanted this project to go. So I think in the end she was correct, though. I think it looks better the way she suggested to put it. So I'm grateful for that. So we're going to use the circle carbide cutter to hollow out a little bit and make more room for the chuck to go in, and we're going to drill deeper. So here we're using the Forstner bit to drill it to depth, so I know how far I need to go. That high-pitched whining noise is the air compressor. I think that's from like 1930. Great compressor. No, I'm just kidding. It's really not that good, but it is old, so we use what we got. Once I drill out the center, you'll see me right here. I'm kind of measuring to see how deep it is. I'm happy with the depth of it. So I'll hollow it out to that depth and I won't go any further. Don't want to go through, break through the recess, leave a hole on the bottom of it. That would not be good. I did realize I will need a bigger tool rest or a longer tool rest if I do any more at this depth. This is pretty much all the way up against the piece, so the tool is getting pretty far out there. It was further than I really wanted to get it out there, but I was going to do whatever it took to get this thing hollowed out, so I did overextend the tool a little bit, but it turned out okay. I will admit it was kind of challenging getting it smooth on the inside. Especially, it was kind of hard to tell if you were cutting chips or actually cutting the wood. It was hard for me to tell. There were a lot of humps in there. You don't want humps in the wood. Hey guys and gals, I really appreciate y'all watching the video. If y'all have made it this far, hopefully it's because you like something. So do me a favor, smash that like button, smash the subscribe button, hit that bell notification so you know when I got a new video going live. Last but not least, leave me a comment. Tell me what you think. Really appreciate all the support. These are all free ways to support the channel. Thank you so much. After I finish smoothing out the inside of this, just getting as smooth surface as I can with the scraper, I'm going to do some hand sanding. I did a lot of hand sanding. I only filmed a little bit of it. Same thing, 80 to 400 grit. And then we're going to pull the axe abrasive paste out. And here you'll see why I need a new camera mount. We're going to get started on this. There's the axe abrasive sanding paste. We're going to get started on working this in to the outside and the inside. Really brings out that grain. And right here is the reason I need a new camera stand. Left this in, thought it was funny. Great angle, then you'll see it's going all the way to the floor. Thankfully the camera was okay. We'll get it set back up. Finish working all this in with the paper towel. Just keep going until there's very little coming onto the paper towel. Use denatured alcohol to finish wiping off the rest of the remnants of the Axe abrasive paste so we can put the polish on. Now that we got all the Axe abrasive paste wiped off with the denatured alcohol, we've got the Axe polish and restoring paste. That's what's going to give it the shine. Put 2 coats of this on. Just work it all in, and then you're going to turn the lathe on and buff it to a high gloss with the paper towel. It looks really good. You get a really good shine after this. So I ended up having to use tried and true to finish the bottom of this. The coal jaws did not spread out wide enough for me to put it back on the lathe. So that's the reason I didn't use the Axe stuff. It left a similar kind of finish on it. It looks pretty good. And you just have to dry it. The tried and true is a pretty good finish as well. Hang tight and you'll have a couple of glamour shots coming up. All right, guys, let's look at the final product. Again, appreciate all the support. Please remember, hit that like button, smash that subscribe button, hit the bell notification. Leave me a comment, tell me what you think. Really appreciate everything, all the support y'all been giving me. It's been wonderful. I do have an Etsy store. It's down in the comments if you want to check that out. Thanks. Have a great day.